when it comes down to it, why is your question count so important in the sales process, and why do you need to know about it? I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California, and a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. I keep wanting to say Oahu. I am not in Oahu today. I'm in Sacramento. So the question count for you really is an important aspect. And here's the thing. I'm a huge proponent of recording your sales presentation and your role plays and then getting them transcribed through something like rev.com. If you're meeting with a buyer, you need to have their permission. I'm not a legal person. But here's the thing. When you look at a top salesperson, when you look at a performer, the person who's at the very top, or a closer, the person just right there behind them, I'm going to let you know that they're not all talk. There's questions that they ask. They get into empathy. They get into knowing the buyer. And, you know, the more that you try to fact or logic somebody into a sale, the more that they're going to fight against you, right? I want to repeat that. The more that you try to get somebody with facts and logic, the more that person's going to dig their heels in. And so one of the ways that you as a salesperson can close more deals and find more empathy is know the right question to ask. And this is going to take some time, energy, and effort. So for you, the good news is most salespeople are lazy. And I know that's not you because you're watching a video on how to get better. So your job is to figure out how often you ask a question, how often you talk versus how often there is silence in the sales call. So there should be a mix of all three. There should be good questions, there should be conversation, but there should also be silence in that mix. And if you go and ride with a closer, pay someone. Pay to go ride with a closer and keep your freaking mouth shut and find out what they're doing and figure out how they're closing deals. I'm going to tell you, I've ridden with so many salespeople that this is a trait of a closer performer, that they ask questions. How would that make you feel? And they may not ask it this way, so you're going to have to work with them. What was the emotion behind that? What would that do for you? And then they just sit there and listen. But any good interviewer knows that the power is not in the first conversation or the first question. The power is always in the follow-up. The power for you is always in the follow-up question. So you may start with a fact. We've got a fact, right? And that's the first question. The second question could be about emotions or situations, and then about emotions. But whatever the thing is, if you just think that you're going to go into a sales presentation and you're going to ask a couple of the questions that you always ask, that everybody else in the industry always asks, and then close the deal, it's going to come down to two things. Price, discounting, right? They're the same thing. Price and discount is really what it comes down to if you don't have good sales skills. It's crazy how many times that I ride with closers and performers and they get all the way to the end and they're filling out the paperwork and the buyer's like, what did I just buy? I don't even know the brand. I don't even know, wait, what did I just buy? And like the closer performer laughs, ha ha ha, this is what you got, and they're like, fantastic. And then they get all the way done, they sign their name on the dotted line, they're like, I didn't even ask for a discount, right? You are going to find the best people out there have a good question count, a good, they talk, and then they also have, that's number two, and then number three is they have a good silence. So pay attention, right? And I'm going to tell you, one of the most cringeworthy things when you have a sales presentation is to listen to it, and even more cringeworthy is to watch, because if you turn off the sound and watch your body language, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is crazy, okay? So some advanced sales skills, strategies, tactics to help you close deals. Real deal. You have to record your presentation. You have to let people watch it and help critique it that you trust, that are really going to help you out and give you the goods and tell you how to be a closer in each and every presentation, okay? You should pay attention to your question count. If you're struggling, this is one of the first things that I work with salespeople to go to. You need to know, if you're struggling, that automatically your brain goes into, I need to fact mode people and I'm going to logic them and close a deal. And then you're going to get to the end of the call and be frustrated because it's either going to end to a huge discount that usually says, oh, I'll call you back because it seems really needy. A price match where there's not a lot of profit and revenue in there. Or three, I want to think about it, or whatever generic bid comes, your generic conversation comes after that objection, okay? Pay attention to your question count in the world of sales, and your increase will follow. Now this is up, one thing. I have people take and hear this, and they go crazy town. They go crazy town, and they turn into interrogators, or they turn into, I'm not giving a sales presentation, I'm just going to ask questions. Not what I'm saying. Not good, right? There is a ebb and flow to conversations. There's a dance. You go to the right, they go to the left. You go to the left, they go to the right. It's a perfect balance thing that happens, okay? It's not just you, I'm just going to go, I'm going to show up and throw up with questions. No, that's not what I said. That's not going to help you out, okay? There is the ability for you to ride with other salespeople in other industries and pay them if you have to. Go watch what they do. It's probably one of the best things you could do. Get out of your industry and go watch somebody go close some deals, and you're going to be surprised at how often closers ask questions, performers ask questions, use silence. They also use a conversation the right way, okay? So you got one thing to do from here, just one thing. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, find the subscribe button and click on it. And every time I send out a video, you'll get an update as long as you click on the little bell. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by. Aloha.